This content creator's name is Just Notified. Just Notified, as of the recording of this video, he has 29,700 subscribers. 29,700 subscribers. If you guys like his content or you like this video, I've never actually watched it. You guys seen me discover him yesterday during the Millionaire Morning Show. So we're going to review the video. Apparently he got laid off and he said that he's going all in as a content creator. All right, all in as a content creator. So make sure y'all hit y'all like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications. We also gonna be live streaming tomorrow to do a makeup show for Wednesday, so that should be dope. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Shout out to y'all. Let's get it.
Here's the text I got from my manager the day I got laid off.
Nice background.
Hey, Justin, I just caught up with leadership. I'm sorry to hear about the situation and wish I was able to be there to share more insight. In this time of transition, I would love to be a resource for anything you need from myself or my network. I really enjoyed our time together and think very highly of your skills, experience, and you as a person. Now I'll get to what led up to this happening, but it made me so sick to my stomach that I can no longer bear the thought of working for corporate America. So now this is how I'm trying to make a living.
It's a lot of drama.
Hey everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Justin, and in today's video, we're going to be going...
Nice production.
First, let me start off by saying that I don't hold anything against anybody that I've ever worked with or any company I've ever worked for. But over the past 10 years, I've witnessed things that I think qualifies me to say that corporate America has no soul. They have no human compassion. And they honestly can't. Because if you look at how exactly companies are run, they're all driven by earnings, profit and loss statements. And you as a person, I've always heard the phrase that you're just a number. When you work for a large organization, you're just a number. And I always thought that that meant that you're just an employee ID or you're just the 800th employee in the company. But over time, what I've learned that that means is you represent an expense. A company pays you a salary, and when they're looking at their profit and loss, when they're looking at their revenue projections, and if they are not as profitable as they want to be, or when they report things to their shareholders showing how profitable the company is, you represent the loss column.
Not necessarily. You represent the loss column if you don't continue to add value into the company. So I do agree with them that corporate America is driven by profits. If you're not a profitable company, ultimately you go out of business and then you don't actually serve any purpose. And so people get laid off. And so they have to be driven by profits. They're not supposed to have a soul. You know what I'm saying? You're there to make money. You're there to provide a service. You're there to ultimately add value into people's lives. And if you're not, then you then go by the wayside and then another company replaces you and then it goes from there. But let me add this caveat to go along with it. You have to be a value add. That's why they're not hiring you just to put you in an expense column. They're hiring you to ultimately do a job that they need that makes more money for the company if you are a value add. So don't just look at it just from an expense column perspective, because I know that's the easy path to take when you get laid off. When everybody gets laid off, you go through a mourning period to an extent. And, you know, I've seen it, I've done it, I've lived through the 2008 crisis. It's been bad out here in these streets. You know what I'm saying? But you go through a mourning period where you look at it and you try to be as objective as possible. And you say, well, I don't have any ill will towards people, but you're just an expense at the company. Depends. Depends on the state of the company. And if you don't add value. So for example, if a particular division, Apple recently got rid of its car division. They were investing in a car division to ultimately make money within the auto manufacturing space. They decided that it wasn't a good idea after investing so much money. And so then they just looked at the employees as an expense because they couldn't move those employees into another division of the company. And so ultimately you were an expense and you didn't add additional value to the company because they're no longer going to be manufacturing cars. You understand what I'm saying? But if you're developing a product that ultimately makes a whole lot of money, take NVIDIA, for example, and you're in a space in AI that ultimately is going to make the company even more money, then you are a value add. And so they're not going to lay you off if it doesn't make sense. And then you continue to add value into the company, you get compensated accordingly to whatever it is that you negotiate, and then you go from there. So I think that we have to look at this holistically. We got to look at it from the from the view of the employer and the employee, and ultimately say you are an expense, but then at the same time, how much more value do you add as a result of it?
because you're an expense. And the easiest way for an organization to become profitable or become more profitable is by eliminating expenses, eliminating people's jobs. And all of those decisions come from top line executives that don't even know that you exist. Now, look, I understand that when we sign an offer letter to join a company, in most cases, depending where you live, you're signing a contract that's at will, meaning that you can leave the employer
That's a
anytime
fact.
or they can let you go at any time.
And that's the difference between when you start getting to the real money and you start getting to certain levels, you're not a part of the union. So when you sign that contract, know that you are an at will employee. That's correct.
And I get it, it's business. I'm not mad about being let go or being laid off. What makes me angry is how these companies do it. And a lot of the times you might think that layoffs just come out of the blue, but I have proof that it's completely the opposite. If you are told that today is your last day here, somebody knew months before, weeks before, and you're generally the last person to find out. And the reason why I
Facts.
say
That's
that
facts.
is I used to work for a manufacturing company for 3 years. And the way the office was set up, I sat right next to the director of human resources. And these were cool people, good people. But we would see patterns that would happen every so often. I would say probably 5 or 6 times a year, where most of the time, the office setting, everybody was jovial, joking with each other, all that type of stuff. But there would come times where there were weeks where the human resources director and some of his representatives just were not as talkative. It was almost like there was a dark cloud over that whole department.
All right, I want to get to the part where he talked about how he got laid off because this is a relatively longer video, so I'm gonna get to that. Sped it up to 1.25.
And the reason why is because I've been in human resources for almost 15 years. I've seen dozens and dozens and dozens of layoffs, terminations, and I know what the process looks like. So I can read the signs pretty well.
I largely agree with almost everything that he's saying. I just think that there's some stuff that you need to add in there in order to make this a full conversation instead of it just looking at it from one lens.
And the day that I got laid off, it started off with me getting online at about 8 a.m. and I was working for like an hour. And then all of a sudden, at 9 o'clock or around 9 o'clock, I had gotten a random meeting thrown on my calendar from my manager's boss. And mind you, this person I have never had a one on one conversation with my entire time working at the organization,
He
the
does
whole time.
communicate well. I agree.
And the meeting was titled Quick Catch Up. So as soon as I saw that, I knew that that was my last day. I understood that. The thing I didn't like about it is that meeting was scheduled at 4 p.m. in the afternoon, and it was 9 a.m. So as an employee, I was supposed to sit there on pins and needles, wondering what the meeting was about up until 4 o'clock. I don't know. For me, that wasn't what I was going to do. So I emailed my manager's boss and very respectfully, I just asked, hey, is there an agenda for this meeting or can you share any details so that I can come prepared? I didn't get a response for maybe about an hour. And so, with that said, I texted my direct manager, my boss, to see if he could tell me anything about this impromptu meeting that got dropped on my calendar. And I'll read you the exact text and his response to show you the reason why I felt like my intelligence was insulted. So, here's my text to him. I said, hey, it's Justin. Hope the PTO is going well and sorry to hit you up on your day off. I had an impromptu meeting hit my calendar this afternoon for a quick catch up. Might you know if all is well or is my position at risk?
You already know. You just looking for confirmation. You already know, big dog. You work in HR. You know how this goes. It's one of the reasons why you decided to hit up your manager that was supposedly, uh, I don't know, you texting him or whatever like that. You already know exactly how the play is because you've probably seen it play out a million different times.
So I was even giving them an out to just let me know, just treat me as a human being. Is my
No.
position gone? Now, here was his response to me. He said, "Hey, man, no worries. And I don't know anything about that. I can ask, but also might be a skip level. And a skip level is just a meeting with your boss's boss. Said, I can ask, but also might be a skip level, as I know he mentioned doing more of those. Let me see if I can find anything out." Now, with all this, I'm not implying that my manager indefinitely knew that I was getting laid off that day. But I feel like, based on my experience,
Soon as you say you feel like, all logic goes out of the window. As soon as you say you feel like, when you talking about money, when you're talking about business, you have to treat it like you are the business. And the minute that you say feel like, I think that a lot of times people are letting their emotions take over instead of letting their logical side of their brain start to operate. And what happens is you start wanting to be treated a certain way. And there's no way that they can treat you that's going to make you feel more human, because you're losing your job and you're losing your income and you might be getting a severance package. So you're trying to make sense of what you're going to do with your life. And so people then lean into, well, I want to be treated a certain way. When in reality, we know what this is when we get there. Listen, every day, because I retired when I was 37 years old from corporate America. Eventually, they made me a crazy offer. And so my expectation wasn't even to be there a year. I was going to get my bonuses, and then they wound up giving me another incentive bonus to go on. And when they brought me back on, I forgot when I went back to corporate America, but I had a meeting with a guy, or I tapped in with a guy that had ultimately went to a company. They brought me in and they said, Anton, what do you think about this? I gave him my thoughts, and they was like, listen, we want you to come in, and they made me a crazy offer, right? I went into this knowing that, listen, I'm going to get what I negotiate. And so I'm going to make sure that this works out in my favor. If I'm not here past a year, because I don't anticipate being here past a year, because this is when my bonuses is going to kick in and this is when my equity is going to tap in, I don't expect for them to look at me as anything other than to do what they said that they was going to do, which is pay me what it is that they guaranteed me for me to have. Now, the fact that I stuck around because they just made it so lucrative for me to stick around and it just became more financially sound for me, I still understand that at any day, I am not going to take it seriously. I'm not going to have no hard feelings if they say, all right, man, listen, we got to cut bait or whatever, blah, blah, blah. You ain't been into the office in the last 2 to 3 years. We got to let you go. I'm going to be like, all right, it was a phenomenal run. I made way more money than I thought I was going to make here. I know what it is. I am not under any, you know what I'm saying, misunderstanding for them to treat me. I'm there to get a check. I don't want. I'm gonna be friends. I'm gonna be a cultural fit. I'm gonna make sure that I smile and I do the right thing and I take care of business and I'm there early while I'm there. But I am not there for y'all. I don't care about my manager. I don't care about my HR manager. I mean, I care about them as human beings, but I don't care about them from a business perspective. If I had an opportunity to take their position and I could, and it was conducive for my lifestyle, and then I had to come in and fire them as a result of it, you gone. We not friends in real life. We don't kick it on that type of time. Listen, listen. When it come to this money, when it come to corporate America, I am a savage. If it's you or it's me and it's conducive for me, you gone. Anton, that's not passionate. This is not a passionate game. This is chess. This ain't checkers. This is chess. So, anyways, let me get back to what he was saying.
it is very seldom that a manager does not know that their employee is about to get let go. And so I don't know. This is very personal. I'm not sure if you'd be open to sharing your stories about it in the comment section, but I would be curious to hear if anybody has had similar experiences or have ever been laid off or let go in a similar type of fashion. Now, ironically enough, what happened shortly after that is that my manager's boss emailed me back and said, "Hey, are you available now?" And so the meeting that was originally scheduled to happen at 4 p.m. got moved and was going to be happening in 10 minutes. And as soon as I got on the call, I saw him and I saw one of the HR representatives. And I already knew what it was going to be. So I was really just ready to wrap it up and call it a day. Now, I want to make it clear that I don't have any ill will against anybody who was involved in the process of me getting let go. It's really the corporate structure that I have problems with. Now, the reason I'm sharing my story is not to complain, but to give fair warning to people who might be working for large corporations that no matter if you've been working.
All right, I got that. Let's move over and tell what his plan is. So I think he's a pretty sound person. Like, I don't necessarily disagree with anything that he's saying. I'm just saying that you got to look at this like a business and plan accordingly. And don't think that these people are your friends. You got to move accordingly.
And what it comes down to, and what I personally believe, is that we should start looking for ways that we can build self generated income. And that's where YouTube came into play for me. See, I started my YouTube channel 2 years ago, and the original idea that I had for my channel is nothing like what it is today. I was just going to be playing video games and uploading my gameplay, and that's what it was going to be. But I started seeing that people kept using the phrase creator economy. And the creator economy is describing anyone who uploads content, whether it's on YouTube or Instagram or TikTok, and gets paid for that content. And one of the stats that stuck out to me was that Goldman Sachs reviewed and analyzed the creator economy and forecasted that it was going to double in size to be worth over $500 billion by 2027. And another stat that stuck out to me, and this is more specific to YouTube. Now, obviously, Google owns YouTube, and YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world. But YouTube is getting over 1 billion hours of watch time on a daily basis and 5 billion videos that are watched every single day. And for those creators that understand the art of getting people's attention, they're making a full time income creating content and posting videos online. So I kept looking into how exactly creators are getting paid. And what I found out is there are two main ways that I plan to use in my strategy in my business to make money on YouTube. The first way is through advertiser revenue. And what that means is anytime that an ad pops up when a viewer is watching a video, there's
So basically, what he's saying is he's gonna go into being a YouTuber full time, and that's how he plans to make his living instead of working a regular 9 to 5 job. Now, I know that I'm supposed to say, "Oh man, congratulations! It's a blessing that you got fired," and all of this stuff, right? I know what I'm supposed to say, uh, and I do think that he should go into this and put his all into it. But let me tell you what my perspective is and my strategy is as a content creator that has been creating content on YouTube for probably the better part of 10 years. Um, Diversify. I've made a lot of money on YouTube, a lot of money on YouTube. But even in YouTube, in the same way that I look at corporate America, I am never 100% independent, or I'm sorry, interdependent on content creation in order for me to be able to sustain and build wealth within my lifestyle. All money in. And again, I know that people just would prefer to have one job or whatever like that, but I have upwards of probably 8 streams of income at this point. And I'm gonna get that corporate bag if they offering it. And I'm gonna get that content creator bag if they offering it. And I'm gonna get that marketing bag if they offering it. And I'm also gonna get the web developer bag if they offering it. And I'm also gonna get the real estate bag if they offering it. Listen, I'm all money in. All money. The thing that I don't want people to do, and maybe it's just me. I mean, you got to have a certain type of personality and kind of just be a serial entrepreneur slash hustler to go out there and get it. I'm not limited to that. As long as I can get it, and as long as it doesn't interfere with what my bigger bags are or what the projection of the bigger bags are, I'm gonna get that too, and I'm gonna get that too, and I'm gonna get that too. Like, you don't have to be or only have one source of income or one bag. And when you do get that bag, and if you do wind up being incredibly successful, because I do think that he's going to be successful, this is just my advice, right? Just Notified is his channel. Y'all want to go and check out his content, make sure that you go out there and you go and check that out, right? But what I'm saying is, never ever, the same way that you didn't want to be interdependent or the same way that you felt like you was done dirty in corporate America or they didn't have no feelings, this game, the content creator game, is way more cutthroat than corporate America. If y'all think that corporate America is a no feelings space, content creation has no mercy. Zero. I mean, listen, if you say something that they don't agree with or you don't acquiesce over into a specific type of audience, they will come for your family. They will try to dox you. They will try to find out where you live at. And I'm not saying that he's going to be creating that kind of content that ultimately fosters that type of, excuse me, that fosters that type of emotion or whatever. But what I am saying is that everything, understand that you want to add value. Hey, I got friends, people are supporting me and all of that, but look at it as a business first. Everything you do, look at it like a business first and make a smart business decision. Don't just look at it from a financial perspective. And I think that he's going to do well, and I want him to do well. And I'm encouraging him because I always like to give visibility to other content creators and big them up. But look at it like a business first. All right.
there's a company that is paying for that ad to be placed
Thank
there.
y'all. I
And
appreciate
so
y'all for the
anytime that
brochures.
somebody watches that ad, then some of that money, the ad revenue on YouTube,
All
one
right.
creator could be making $2 for every 1,000 views they get, while another creator is getting paid $20 for every 1,000 views they get. So you could stand to make a lot less or a lot more money. Let's take my channel, for example. The first paycheck that I received from YouTube for ad revenue was nearly $800. And more recently, I've been learning about the art of getting people's attention. And I posted a couple of videos that have gone viral for my page. And each of these videos have nearly 300,000 views apiece. And from
Nice.
ad revenue alone, the next
Hold on. Let me back that up.
videos have nearly
What do you talk about? The truth about how Kai Cenat became YouTube rich. And this is why America is living paycheck to paycheck. Oh, snaps 2 years ago. I got caught working 2 full-time jobs remote. Oh, okay. All right. I see how you plan it. Yeah. So maybe he is a chaser. Maybe he is a bag chaser. Maybe he does know how to monetize his stuff. But anyways, let's continue over.
300,000 views apiece. And from ad revenue alone, the next check that I'm going to be getting from YouTube will be nearly $2,500. And the thing
Let's look at what he had got. Hold on, let me see
alone,
something.
the next check that I'm going to be
So it looks like April 1st ending, he got $300, and then he had a couple videos go viral. And so because of those viral videos that he did, he's gonna be making about $2,400 as far as what he make. That's pretty good. I think that that's dope. Just be careful because then you're gonna be start trying to chase the algorithm. And it's an art, it's a science to it. But I think that he'll do fine.
getting from YouTube will be nearly $2,500. And the thing I think is even more problematic is that not every creator is eligible to receive ad revenue from YouTube. In order to do so, you have to be accepted into the YouTube partnership program. And in order to do that, your channel has to have at least 1,000
Okay,
subscribers
I know about all
and
of this.
4,000 hours. And not a lot of people talk much more beneficial. And that's why I think that the second way that most creators are making money is much more beneficial. And that way is called affiliate marketing. And not a lot of people talk about affiliate marketing in depth,
All right, I got you. So he's gonna do affiliate marketing and he's gonna do AdSense revenue.
where you'll be surrounded by a group of like-minded people who are pressing toward the same goal to ultimately help all of us get there faster. There's a lot of other freebies that you can read through on the website. So if you're interested, I
So shout out to him. Listen, he's making lemonade out of lemons. Um, I think that he'll be incredibly successful. I don't have any criticism for him, just as a person, as kind of an OG content creator in this space. Just make sure that you don't put all of your eggs in one basket. Diversify your income revenue streams. Make sure that you continue to chase those bags. And maybe you just want to create content full time and that's just it. And so that may be even more lucrative, or maybe he'll blow up and he'll make, even more as a result of it. So best of luck to him. I just want y'all to understand that the corporate game is just like the YouTube game, the creator economy. A lot of people are falling off of that too. And so, get it, run it up, get a bag, become successful, all of that stuff, but also take into consideration what you facing because now you eat what you kill. So I think that he'll do well. I think that he'll do well. Again, his name is Just Notified. That's the name of his channel. As a recording of this video, he has slightly under 30,000 subscribers. And I think that he'll do well. I think he's a very smart person. He seems to be articulate, and we like to support our fellow content creators that's doing dope stuff. So shout out to him. Shout out to everything that he got going on. And I think that he'll do well. He seems to have a good grasp on things, and it'll be a great opportunity for him. Let me read some of these.